I'd been working on accessing a new farm for the past 6 months. I found that certain landowners just take time to get to know. You have to gain their trust before you can even think of asking permission to hunt. With several hints dropped to the landowner and access granted for trail cameras only, I knew this one was going to take some work. I also knew there had to be a big dominant buck running this small woodlot. I was right, and the buck quickly became known as Johnny Rotten. God save the Queen.
Oh, baby, baby, baby. This is the stuff I live for. I am telling you what. Right out here behind me is the tip where a big old buck that I have nicknamed Johnny Rotten is living. Well, he's not living. He's using the heck out of it. He's got a giant signpost row up there. I can actually see it from here. This spot is, I just secured it this weekend. The landowners gave me the go-ahead to bow on out here, and he's a giant. He's a 175 class buck if I had to put a number on him. He's a 4x5, and I actually think I have sheds both sides to him. And this is definitely a big mature deer that lives back here, I'm guessing. Trying to think who this would be. I don't recognize him, but he's a dandy, got a great mass the whole way up. He's got a kicker off the back. Baby, I'm so pumped. I gotta go check. One camera down on the bottom, and then one over the tip. I put one over his big old main scrape. I had 71 pictures in the last 3 or 4 days over that scrape. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Some of them, or hopefully all of them, are Johnny Rotten.
Bow hunting is my life. Filming is my passion. My bow is my weapon. Hunting giant deer is my purpose. Shed hunting is what moves me. Chasing spring gobblers sharpens our skills. Designing the gear that I use is my job. Making better bow hunting videos is my duty. These are my friends and my brothers. This is my world. This is Whitetails Inc. Just pulled the card to the scrape where Johnny Rotten is using, and the contents of this card are going to dictate my action in the next week. If he's on there regularly during or close to daylight hours, I'm moving right in on him. Let's look and see what we got. I'm dying. You don't even know. Negative. We are going to be waiting. Yeah! The second card I pulled where I didn't expect to get him because I only had 22 pictures and it wasn't over a scrape. I got multiple daylight pictures of him, morning and night. This is him right here. You can see him working right across here. I got a bunch of pictures of him. Oh, he is a stud. He is a stud, man. Oh my gosh. Well, I get to make a call I've wanted to make. We're going after Johnny Rotten tonight, man. With Johnny Rotten located, permissions granted, and standing corn on this particular farm, I knew time was of the essence. As most of you have experienced this season, the corn was dried out early this year, and I knew it was only a matter of time before this standing corn would be gone. When the corn was gone, I knew this buck was likely going to be 99% nocturnal on this farm until the pre-rut. This was going to be my only crack at this buck before everything was going to change.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I never in a million years believed that I would be out here on the 11th of October in 80-degree heat with the nervousness of having a buck figured out a little bit and being able to move in on him and hopefully kill him in the next day. I know what trail he's taking consistently, and that's all the information that I was looking for by using these trail cameras. I want to set a stand for tonight so Timmy and I can come out here and hopefully get a crack at this buck. Man, it's tough. There's no trees. None. Not a good spot for a ground blind either. The age-old problem, and I can't go scouting too far that way because the wind's going to blow right in the bedding area. I don't want to take a chance on bumping him out of here. That's half the battle. You know where a big buck is. You don't want to ruin it. Well, I got my tree picked out. It's the only tree, but it's awesome. But it's going to be one hell of a job to get trimmed out quietly, so I apologize. The next time you see me, I'm going to be up inside of it. We are up in this tree. Timmy's up over in this trunk over here. I'm in this different one right down here. And I'm going to give you a bird's eye view of what we see right now. The trail he's been taking is coming by this old little shed down here. Up, and I believe he's jumping the fence right here to feed up on this top side. If he does what he's been doing anywhere through here, we should be able to get a shot at him. We're back up in the set where we're trying to kill Johnny Rotten out of. I'm going to keep this interview short because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen here in a minute or two. Got several trail camera pictures right about now, right at first light. So I'm going to turn around, pay attention, look for them, so we don't get caught with our pants down, talking when we should be hunting. So that's going to be it. I hope he shows. There ain't no easy way to do this, man. I can't do this all quick and quiet and run and gun. It's too darn thick. I mean, look at this timber. So I'm going to set it and plan on not even hunting it until, a week and a half, 2 weeks from now. So I'm going to do a little damage in here, and spread some scent. But for filming these hunts, you got to get this stuff in this thick area. It's just very difficult. But there's no way I can hunt in the timber. It's just going to be field edge. But this spot right here is the second choice of two, the hardest one, but it offers me shots on both field edges with great cover. So I'm just going to do it.
With the corn gone surrounding this tiny woodlot, I knew I had to get a couple stands set, get out, and stay out. I was guessing Johnny Rotten to be a 6.5 to 7.5-year-old buck. With several adjacent farms that offered the exact same habitat and cover, I knew it would not take much to push this buck off the spot. I was just going to have to be patient and wait until Johnny Rotten's instinct to breed and to protect his breeding rights would hopefully give me the one opportunity I needed to put an arrow into him.
Not what I would call my most favorite set in the whole world to trim out. It kicked my butt. I jammed a spike, about a 3-inch spike, through my fingernail into my hand. I don't know how that's even possible. This is just the most brutal timber in the world. I can't even shoot straight down. It's so thick in here. But man, is this set sweet. I can't wait to hunt this. This is the set I think I would, I got another set across the way. That's killer too, but I think this is the one I would end up killing Johnny Rotten out of. Not the kind of racket I wanted to make in here, but I mean, dude, there's no other way. I had to climb up in these two trees. I had to climb up the trees in order to trim them from the top out. A total of three tree. It's the worst freaking setup. I hate doing these goddamn stands. I hate it. Just if you feel like you're killing yourself the entire time you're out here doing it, putting so much set noise in here, but Jesus, there's no other way to do it. It's just frustrating. I get pissed off. I gotta get out of here. Kyle and I are back in the tree together, and the conditions absolutely suck. We forgot the mount plate for the camera, so Kyle has to handhold the night. But it's not a night I'm really expecting to see too much, which is why we probably will kill Johnny Rotten tonight. We're sitting in the stand that I hung about 2 weeks ago now, particularly for that deer, the Johnny Rotten buck. He's a beautiful 170 class 9. He's a giant old deer, and he's been coming up through this little pinch point between these two fields, kind of. I've been talking about social areas. There's a social networking site right below us. This is a spot where these deer kind of congregate, but it's blowing like 30, 40 mile an hour night. We're not really expecting too much movement. This front's coming in right now. This wind's leading it in, and tomorrow morning it's going to be cold and nasty. It's supposed to be a little bit breezy, but it's going to be down in the upper 20s, low 30s, so it's a brutal morning. I was just sitting here thinking about how excited we get for this day to be out hunting during the rut and stuff. And watching all the celebrities on TV and this, that, and the other, sitting around at camp. And man, bow hunting is so much further away from that than anything I've ever known. It's the most brutal, unforgiving, non-glamorous thing in the world. I have yet to see a deer on this property. It's just one of them goofy spots where we're going to see him, maybe one or two other deer, and that's it. But that's fine. I'm here to kill one buck and one buck only. And we're out here trying to kill a buck that I call Johnny Rotten. It's a weird year because I only have a couple deer I really want to shoot, to be honest with you. One of them is this one, Johnny Rotten. Right now, he's the only buck I'd shoot off my property. Hopefully we see some deer here. I'd be tickled to see a freaking doe.
Just as I had hoped to see, this doe comes straight out of the bedding area and right into the social networking area. She's sniffing the air around the licking branches of this tree to see who's been around. I was just hoping Johnny was going to follow suit. He did not.
We are in the set for the first time for a buck called Johnny Rotten. And it is I can't even describe the pain and agony that went into hanging this tree stand, trimming out mostly. The timber this is hanging over is the most thickest I've ever seen in my entire life. There's kind of a draw that runs out here. It's all shredded with buck sign. I've got 3 trail cameras set up, and I've been getting regular pictures of this buck, but none of them during daylight. I don't know if we're gonna really be able to get a crack at him, but I have to keep trying. Right now, there's really not much movement during daylight any of our farms, so this is one of them spots that it could be hit or miss. He could all of a sudden be here with a hot doe, be here checking. We don't know. God, I wish he was that big buck. Persistence is going to be the only key. We don't have many other options than that. Doesn't leave this property because it's a small woodlot, and he's probably still down in this area. I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes and give a grunt to try to coax him back up. Oh my God, he's a giant. He's a freaking giant. He's a freaking stud. He's 170 plus. It's tiny, so I know he could hear. I gotta try. Johnny came up this field edge with the wind in his nose, checked this whole area, did a round circle right through the social area. I know exactly where he went. I've got pictures of him going right up this trail out to the opposite side field edge, which is a CRP field. All of a sudden, we're sitting here and I see a deer standing right here on this field. And it went booking up this way. And then 2 minutes later, I see a tail. I can just see a white tail behind that crest of this hill. Another doe comes peeling up. She crosses the street, rips up through here. That son of a buck came right down through there, was hitting those does up. And we watched to make sure he didn't run up across the road chasing those does. The thing about these old bucks is they know when the does are going to be ready to breed. And they aren't going to waste their time or energy chasing a doe that's not ready yet. Those does were not ready to go, so he chased them up out of this timber. And he's bedding right down here. I bet $1,000 on it. He doesn't get old by moving around during daylight. He's in this timber down here. He's already checked every doe in this territory because he scent checked them already coming in here. He caught our human scent right here in front of us. I watched him. We're going to use that against him. He now is associating all human movement up in this social area. He still may be killable here, but not tonight. We're going to move down to the opposite side of the farm where I believe he's bedded right now. He's going to stay there all day. He has no reason to come up here. I've gotten 0 daylight pictures of him. That prick is down here. He's bedded in this timber. Tonight he's going to do the exact same thing, but he's not going to come up through here until after dark. So we're going to try to manipulate him by that. Set up down here in a spot where most guys would never even think to set up for tonight. Most guys would see a buck and they want to move right where they saw him. Tonight he's going to use the timber, the thickness of the timber, as a security blanket, and that's the only way he's going to come out during daylight is if he has a complete visual of the field before he comes out into it. He's got the scent from coming from behind him, and he's going to come out and he's going to maybe hit the field just before dark, just to visually check for does that are out there feeding. Maybe a doe will pull him up into that field if he has been hooked up with a doe. That's our best bet, is to catch him right there. And hopefully tonight's the night.
After only about 30 minutes on stand, I heard a loud, deep grunt come from across the ravine about 80 yards away, from where I saw the does combusting out that morning when I assumed Johnny Rotten had chased them out. About 10 minutes after I heard the loud grunt across the valley, I heard footsteps approaching. Just about as soon as I could make out that it was a doe followed by a fawn, I heard the sound that confirmed my suspicion.
Get ready, it's gonna be him.
Tune in next week for the conclusion of The Ghost of Johnny Rotten. If you're sick of watching the same old, check out a White Knuckle DVD. Not just different, better. To check out our full line of White Knuckle Productions DVDs, gear, and additional video clips, either click on the link from whitetailsinc.com or visit us at whiteknuckleproductions.com.